It's Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. A lot to talk about on this video today, the economy, the administration. But first, I want to start with this. I want to thank everybody for the incredible comments on yesterday's video. Dropped that video about the fires in Los Angeles. We went out there. We went from Malibu to Altadena, and the comments were incredible. So many people sincere, praying for the people here in Los Angeles, praying for the animals, the cats, the dogs, and I want to thank everybody for that. And we stopped at the Pasadena Humane Society, and they had taken in over 300 animals because of these wildfires here in Los Angeles. And I've made a couple donations, and if you want to make a donation, you can go to the link down below. Go to yesterday's video. There's a link down below to the Pasadena Humane Society. And you can go to that link, you can make a donation. Dogs got burned, they got injured, dogs were lost, dogs were dropped off because people couldn't take them as they're in temporary housing. And so we talked to Officer Robles, and he gave us about 10-15 minutes of his time. And they're just doing great work, and these animals need help. The people in these areas, for the most part, are getting water, they're getting food. They're getting, they're having to take care of housing on their own, I think, pretty much. But other than that, they're eating, they're drinking, and they're going into relatives' homes or renting homes, doing whatever they have to do. But the animals, they can't really fend for themselves. So if you are interested in making a donation, go to yesterday's video, link down below. Check that out. Pasadena Humane Society doing a phenomenal, fantastic job. God bless them. Also, really quick, there was people that were concerned about our safety going into these areas at night. With looters and mobs and all of that. Thank you for the concern. I'm running a G17. Enrique was running a G19. I was running this Night Stalker from TCal Knives. I carry this everywhere pretty much with the G17. And so I would not go into an area not without being prepared. I will tell you that, especially at night. Yes, there's a lot of cars driving around through these areas. There are looters. You have to be very cautious and careful. So for anybody concerned about mobs and looters, TCal Knives, Night Stalker, G17 and a G19. I thought we were going to, be in pretty good hands with that. We had no issues, thank God. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. If you, by the way, really quick, if you want a Night Stalker or any of the other great knives that TCal makes, one of the best knives in the entire world, if not the best knife. I carry it everywhere. You can go to the link down below, order yourself a beautiful TCal knife. But I'll tell you, I felt extremely safe. No issues, thankfully. And so again, that's why I believe that you should be boxing or doing jiu-jitsu, why you should always have a good knife for utility or protection. And, if you have the ability where you live and you can roll concealed, I definitely think it's a great idea. And I would never go to a place like that without being concealed, without having a good knife, without, having the proper tools. So anyways, if you haven't seen the video, please go to yesterday's video. And again, thank you for all the support. It gives me hope that we have really good people in America that care about other people. And don't forget about the people in North Carolina, the people in Maui, the people in East Palestine, and all over the country that are still suffering. So hopefully America is going to come together. Hopefully we're going to, get this country fixed and get people back on their feet, people that shouldn't be sleeping in tents in North Carolina, and people who, are going to need more than $770 to get back up on their feet here in Los Angeles. So anyways, check it out. Watch the rest of this video. God bless. Here we are today. What's going on today? Another fire started last night north of Los Angeles. I believe it was in the Santa Clarita area. We have fires popping up everywhere. And I just have to say, what the F is going on with these fires? So we had 50,000 people evacuated yesterday, 10,000 acres burning. I believe they have about 30-40% of it contained today. So it looks like they're going to get that under control. But this thing started out in the middle of nowhere. So how did it start? There's no 80-mile-per-hour winds, ladies and gentlemen, but another fire starts outside of LA, and more fires were also in other parts of California, and we'll probably have more today. So it's just really odd how many fires we're seeing here in California. Trump 2.0, so far so good for markets. We're only a few days in to Trump 2.0. But so far, so good. The markets are very optimistic. Markets on fire today. One thing I will say about Trump 2.0 is I was watching some of the news today with these ICE agents going and picking up some very, very bad actors across the country. I cannot believe people defend these people being here. These people were wanted for murder, drug offenses, assault, doing things to little kids. These were the people that were getting picked up today. And these people are roaming the streets of America. Think about right now, how many lives right now may have been saved, and how many lives now will not be affected by these losers just walking freely, these bad actors walking freely on the streets of America who've committed crimes here, they're committed crimes in these other countries that they're from, and they're just walking around freely. So thank God these agents pick these people up, because it has probably prevented maybe one of your family members from serious injury. But getting back to the economy, the markets are up. This obviously is some of the sugar high with this new administration coming in, but the markets are up, but the economy is not. And the question is, can this administration fix the decaying U.S. economy? They can prop up the stock market all they want. That's not helping the majority of Americans. Now, the hard part is going to be fixing the U.S. economy. CNBC, S&P 500 closes at new record. Dow Jones up 408. NASDAQ was up 44. 10-year bond yield, 4.645 as I make this video. It is inching back up. That's a bit concerning. Gold was down $3 today, sitting at 27.53, so not very far from the high. Bitcoin down 700 to 103. It's been kind of bouncing around between 105 and 103 today. Oil's down to roughly $74 a barrel, so that's good news. If this administration can get energy prices down, if we can get oil prices down, that is going to give people some breathing room. I want to see these tax cuts. I want to see oil prices going down, and I think that's going to benefit most Americans. So there is some good news out there. But, we have to be realistic, too, that we burned through $36.2 trillion of debt. We have a $2 trillion deficit. We're spending over $1 trillion a year just financing the interest on the debt right now. And we're talking right now, we're adding $1 trillion of debt every 100 days. Now, hopefully they're going to slow that down. We don't know. Right now, so far, so good, but it's a few days in. So we're going to see how this plays out. But at least, I will say this, somebody is at least trying to do something. And I know I'm going to get all this hate for the support of this new administration. I really don't care. You can unsubscribe. You keep watching for whatever reason. But look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me who's running the country. I'm going to support the United States of America. I'm going to support good decisions. I'm going to support people who are protecting Americans, looking to do something with an economy that has been rotting, looking to do something about inflation. I mean, all you can do at this point is try. The last administration got us deeper into a hole, and I don't think they did a whole lot. In fact, I think they really, really hurt a majority of Americans, even people who are so asleep and believe that everything was okay. You've been hurt. You just don't even realize it yet because you're so dazed and confused. But eventually, you're going to realize the damage that's been done, and at least somebody's trying to fix it. Can they fix it? I don't know. I don't know. It may be at a point now that we're going to have to feel some pain. And I don't know. Please comment down below. Is this even repairable without feeling pain? Can we fix the damage? Can we pay off the debt without feeling the pain? I just don't think that's possible. I think it can be repaired, but it's going to be severe pain in order to do it. So we will see. Trump is going to either, print a lot of money and try to kick the can farther down the road, or he's going to, allow this thing. I think we literally have to go into a recession, depression in order to fix things. That's my opinion. Could be totally wrong, but I really do believe You've got to shake out the dead branches. You got to let things come down. You got to have things literally collapse because people cannot afford to buy houses. They can't afford cars. They can barely afford to pay their utility bills. So you can lower interest rates. You can give them cheaper money. But if prices keep going up, they're just not going to be able to do it. We need to see prices come back to earth. My opinion, comment down below. A record number of consumers are making minimum credit card payments as delinquencies also rise. This on CNBC. This came out yesterday. It's a little bit late, but I think we need to talk about it. The share of active credit card holders just making minimum payments rose to 10.75% in the third quarter of 2024, the highest ever in data going back to 2012. Not a good sign. Balances more than 30 days past due rose to 3.52%. And this is another indication that people are broke, they are strained. And this to me is very, very dangerous for a lot of people because when they no longer can use a credit card, where do they go? What do they do? A lot of people are on their last leg right now and they're using credit cards. And the minute they can't make those minimum payments, the minute those credit cards get shut off, these people are in big, big trouble. So we're seeing some positive things happening, but there's a lot of negative things happening too. And it is due to the excessive amount of debt, especially what we've seen in the last 4 years. And we have a lot of people just barely hanging on right now. If things don't change very, very quickly, we're in trouble. Our $101 trillion problem. This is the number one tool the elite use to enslave us. What is that tool? You've guessed it. It's debt. You want to be a debt slave? You want to be a peasant? Get yourself into debt, and that's where you're going to be. The past 30 years, we added $80 trillion in debt. The United States, right now, over $36 trillion in debt. But when you take in, it says state and local governments, corporations, U.S. households, that puts us at $101 trillion in debt. That doesn't include unfunded liabilities. In the 90s, mid-90s, that debt was $20 trillion. Debt strips your freedom. It drains your wealth, whether you're an individual or a nation. Debt drains wealth and freedom. So we are watching the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and this is globalism, ladies and gentlemen. Globalism. This isn't capitalism. This is crony capitalism. This is globalism. People are just now waking up to what's happening after a few years because they've realized that they're having to work 2 to 3 jobs. They have no money saved up. They can't buy a house. Many of them can't rent. Many of them have to move back home. Many of them are renting rooms out if they have a place. Many of them are falling behind, making the minimum payments on credit cards. They've had the repossession of their cars. They're not sleeping at night. They can't get health insurance. They're not eating good. They're stressed out. And so now they're beginning to realize what is happening in this country. Think about how bad this is going to be when AI comes in, what this is going to do to the average worker in this country. So let's just be straight here. I'm very hopeful. I'm optimistic with this new administration, but I'm also not naive. We've got big problems. There's been so much debt run up in this country. We have so many people dependent on credit cards. We have so many people who've lived beyond their means. And we have new technologies coming that are going to replace a lot of jobs. So if we do not see good manufacturing jobs come in that aren't AI, that are going to be for American workers, if we don't see that happening, and this is going to AI, this is going to be big, big trouble for the average worker because millions of jobs will be at stake. The economy right now is working for the top 10%. Stock market working for the top 10%. The economy has collapsed. It has been collapsing for years. The stock market has been propped up with trillions of dollars injected into the markets, into the economy, into the pockets of very, very wealthy people. And most people are not getting the benefit of the stock market because they cannot afford to be in the stock market because they're working paycheck to paycheck. 80% of this country is working paycheck to paycheck. They have no money saved up, no money in the bank, and so they just can't afford to do this. And so they are the debt slave of today. while the elite own most of the wealth. 50% of Americans own just 2.5% of the wealth in this country. 2.5% of the wealth, 50% of this country. So you can see, who's running the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the American people. And the American people, for the most part, the majority of the American people are debt slaves. Store closures hit highest level since the health crisis. This on CNBC. Store closures in the U.S. spiked in 2024 and are expected to rise to about 15,000 closures this year. Retailers have already announced 1,925 store closures so far in 2025. Just a couple examples: Macy's, 7-Eleven, Big Lots, Walgreens, Party City. The list goes on. Michael Kors closes its downtown San Francisco store. That was located at the San Francisco Center Mall. Adidas, J. Crew, American Eagle, Nordstrom's, just a few others that have already bounced out of there. Between the economy and the crime, they are gone. Bloomingdale's to close a store in downtown San Francisco Center Mall. That mall is going to be done. It's a massive store. Bloomingdale's, 339,000 square feet. Gone. Late spring, they are bouncing out of San Francisco. So think about the job losses that are going to come with this, the tax base that is going to disappear with this store leaving. It's another vacant building for another regional bank to deal with. It's another disaster, and it's another reflection of just how bad things really are. Look, this new administration is going to try whatever they can do to stop the bleeding, and I pray to God that they're successful, but wow, do they have a job on their hands. And I hope people don't go, oh, it's their fault. Look what they did. Look what they did. Expect a rug pull on the stock market. Expect more problems in the U.S. economy. Expect more layoffs. I think at some point, hopefully, prayerfully, it does turn around and get better. But this is going to take years to sort out, ladies and gentlemen. So anybody expecting a miracle in the next 6 months, I hope it happens. I hope it does. But wow. There is just so much devastation in this economy, and I think we're going to get more and more news of the devastation because we're going to see more closures, more layoffs, and more trouble. Trouble off air. CNN boss warns network could no longer exist as it lays off 200 staff and brutally demotes anti-Trump star Jim Acosta. I guess a lot of people just don't really watch CNN. And they're in trouble, and more layoffs. So you're not safe. Nobody's safe, ladies and gentlemen, from losing a job, even right now. Nobody's safe. Don't take your job for granted. I would continue to be raising as much capital, building up the war chest, putting some metals away, because I just don't believe that things are just going to be as easy as we're being told, that this is all just going to be solved literally in 100 days. This was very positive. Trump blasts Bank of America CEO over anti-conservative bank bias, unleashes his revolution of common sense on WEF globalists. So he was speaking to the World Economic Forum today, and he brought up a Bank of America and said, I hope you do business with conservatives. What you're doing is wrong. Look, conservative, liberal, anything in between, I think it's a really scary time when large banks like this are dictating who they're going to do business with. I mean, oh, we don't like what you believe in. We don't believe in who you support. We don't like the way you voted, so we're not going to let you do business at our bank. Very, very dangerous. So I'm glad he acknowledged that. I'm glad he brought that up. I mean, who can argue that? Like, we're having major banks dictate who they're going to do business with. Not good. Not good. So I'm glad he did bring that up. How to stop the BRICS nations from abandoning the dollar. This is a real problem, and Trump knows it's a real problem. In this article, a couple points here. Return all stolen assets to Russia and other nations. 2, end blackballing Russia and other nations. 3, turn the ownership and running of SWIFT to neutral hands so it cannot be sanctioned by the U.S. We're sanctioning SWIFT and this financial system. We've been weaponizing the US dollar. Stop inflating the dollar, which is the main cause of inflation. Return all gold held in American vaults to its rightful owners as quickly as possible. And the last one, place the dollar on a true gold standard. Make the dollar as good as gold. It's the only way, in my opinion, you're going to save the US dollar. We can talk about CBDCs and cryptos and all this digital money. You got to have a physical currency. You got to have something backed by something. It's got to be gold. At least a percentage of a fiat currency needs to be backed by gold in order for other nations to want it, to accept it. Otherwise, they're going to be looking at other options. And this is why BRICS is become so popular. And it is a real threat to the US dollar. It's a real threat to America. And anybody thinks it isn't, you are not reading what they're doing. You're not reading what this is all about. You're not watching how many countries already right now are dropping US treasuries, and how many countries are really angry at America for these wars and the 9,000 sanctions across the globe. They would do anything today if they could to get out of the US dollar and go to something else. And another currency backed by gold, that's where the world's going to go. And if we don't do it first, somebody else will do it, like the BRICS. So we have to be very careful here. U.S. auto safety regulators probe nearly 900,000 General Motor vehicles for engine failure. This is, again, we talk about this, I think, almost every week. What is going on with the quality of American cars? And this has happened to other makers too, Toyota, Honda. Everybody's had these issues, but now 900,000 GM vehicles. What is going on here? We should not be seeing this. You're spending $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 for a vehicle. This should not be happening. So preliminary investigations are covering 2019 to 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500s, the 2021 to 2024 Chevy Tahoe and Suburban, the 2019 to 2024 GMC Sierra 1500, 2021 to 2024 GMC Yukon, Yukon XL, and 2021 to 2024 Cadillac Escalade and Escalade ESV. Unbelievable that we're paying this type of money for a vehicle, and this is the quality that the American people are getting. Doesn't it almost irritate you that you're spending $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month for one of these vehicles, and you're running the risk of engine failure? Unbelievable. It really is. I want to close with this last article, and I was just reading this this afternoon. American hiker shot twice by suspected cartel terrorists near the Mexico border. This happened on U.S. soil. Group of hikers were bombarded, it says, with gunfire. One was hit twice and robbed in El Centro. This is 97 miles away from where I'm making this video. So one gentleman is shot. He's deceased. The other one shot and robbed. So, and this is really sad. The gentleman who was shot and robbed is still alive. He was staying with the wounded gentleman, his friend, who was wounded. He stayed by his side, shot twice and robbed. Luckily, he survived. This happened right on the U.S. border, 97 miles away in El Centro. This is absolutely unacceptable. This administration needs to get a grip on this right now. Between the fentanyl coming over here, all the other drugs, this just cannot continue, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, think about this. You're out hiking in the El Centro area, and you're taking on gunfire. One person loses their life, a U.S. citizen, and a Canadian citizen who is visiting his friends here is shot, I believe, twice while staying along the side of his friend who was dying, and then he's robbed. I mean, this is as low as it gets, and it cannot be tolerated, and hopefully something is done about it ASAP. I'm going to leave it there today. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. Is this country heading in the right direction? Is it heading in the wrong direction? Are you supporting a lot of these executive orders? Are you supporting the direction that we're going in? I think a majority of these executive orders, I haven't seen them all, but the ones that I am seeing, I support 100%. Is this administration going to be successful? I pray to God that they are. I don't know. We shall see. But I would not doubt to see some type of retaliation, some kind of rug pull in the markets, a rug pull in cryptos. We don't know. We don't know. Is it really going to be this easy to just fix things? Don't know. We'll see. We got a long way to go, but it's been an exciting 2025. Comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to all of you soon.